So, at approximately 113,900 miles on my ST1100, my second ST1100, the alternator went out. Now, this is what killed the first one that had just done about 100, a shade over 100,000 miles. And, you know, I noticed because I have this charging light on the side here, and I knew, and it started flashing red, and I thought, oh, that's it, it's dead. And I already knew the charging system was suspect, so I swapped all the bulbs apart from the headlight bulb and the idiot bulbs for LED. So using less current, and I was only using one headlight. But then coming home from work, I noticed that light was up on red, and then it was flashing, and then I broke down and got a ride home. Anyway, so I was going to trash the bike, right? I was going to say, okay, you know, I'll part out what I can. You'll sell the drive units, you'll sell the calipers, the front rotors, maybe the forks and the mirrors and the mirror pods and other odds and ends, the seats, you know, and stuff, maybe the handlebars. Anyway, there's the car was $1,000 here, parting it out. But then I was like, I had a brilliant idea, right? So what I did was I got the battery off the camper and I just shoved it in the back and I supported it with a pair of old shoes, a toilet roll and a cardboard box. What a fucking redneck. So anyway, so this is so I took it to Mitch, right? Mitch is Honda mechanic extraordinaire, and he's like, oh, it's probably the rectifier regulator. And then he got his meter out and took all his measurements, and he's like, wow, I've never seen an alternator so dead. So if anybody knows, pre-96, these were a 28 amp alternator, and I think they're oil cooled, but basically they can die after a period of time, and there was a retrofit for a 40 amp, and anything post 96 is 40 amp. But the retrofit's complicated. The alternator lives down here, it's swing arm out, rear end out, gas tank out, and I just didn't want to do it on a 113,000 mile bike. Mitch cocked his eye at me because he's like, because Mitch would spend 60 hours on working on something to save a few $100. So anyway, I decided to come up with a total loss electricity system, right? So I've effectively got an electric bike, right? Because it's rechargeable. So, what I did was, I literally just wired in a couple of like 12 or 14 gauge wires to the battery off my camper, which is an 80 amp hour battery. Charged it all up and then drove to work and saw how much it would do. So the charging light. Let's see, when it's, God, what does that say? I haven't got my glasses on, but if it's a steady amber, it's 11 to 12 volts, steady red 10 to 11 volts, flashing red under 10 volts. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to run this and see how far I get out of this system. And I had that as a little bit of an indicator. So I did a few other mods as well. The oil pressure light was always on, so I whipped the bulb out of that. The high beam light, I took the bulb out of that as well. And because it's only got one headlight bulb now, and that headlight doesn't work on high beam, effectively the high beam switch is on off, right? An on off switch. So I either have low beam or no light. So I've been riding it with no headlight, right? And I basically got 500 miles or 10 commutes, because my commute's about 50 miles, or 10 hours, because it's about an hour, out of this with an 80 amp hour battery plus the nominal 12 amp hours. So I did a scientific experiment where I noted down the voltage after 0 miles, and then after 100 miles it was 12.45, 200 12.35, 300 12.18, 400 11.99, and 500 11.78. So it was on the way home today that what I was doing was to test see how well loaded the battery was. I'd flick the headlight on, which is going to take 5 amps, right, or 4 or 5 amps roughly, and then which about 20 miles from home I flicked the headlight on and this light started flashing. So we're sub 10 volts, right, which is kind of getting to the area where this thing won't run. And there's two elements to that, right? You might be able to drain the battery down and it still run, but you might not be able to start because it might not have enough juice to kick it over. And I did notice that that it turned over a little. I had to click the button about 3 times before it kind of caught. And that might be a combination of like a crappy relay or just an older starter motor, or I don't know what. So anyway, so what I'm saying is that, with 90 amp hours of charge, you can run 500 miles. So that's 100 miles is 18 amps. So if you had a trickle charger at if you had a trickle charger at 1 amp, then it would reach after 1 day. It would recharge after 18 hours. So anyway, I'm just gonna charge it up. But I did it as an exercise to see how far it'd go. That's a 40-pound battery in the back, so it does change the handling somewhat. You know, but not as much as that completely bald tyre on the front does. These tyres are great, these Bridgestone Excedras, and they hold their shape, but you can wear them down to nothing, so it's not quite canvas yet. But that was another reason for keeping the bike. I just bought a brand new front tyre for it, and I just put a brand new back tyre on it. So I've decided I'm going to keep this as a total loss charging motorcycle, total loss electric system on this motorcycle, and basically keep it until it dies of some other cause that can't be remedied. Because I decided to ride at 55 and then 65 on the highway on my commute. I got 420 miles out of a tank full before it ran out, and I was carrying spare gas. So it ran out at 420 miles. That was 59 to the gallon on a motorcycle that weighs 600-700 pounds, that's carbureted, which is staggering. It's way more than the Blackbird would ever do. So anyway, so riding it sensibly, I now get 55 to the gallon, which again is 350 out of a tank full. So that's it. I just wanted to share that, because when I researched online, I couldn't find anything about anybody who'd done this and just put a battery in the trunk. So I wanted to know how far to go. So again, the summary is, with an 80 amp hour battery plus the stock battery, this bad boy will go about 500 miles. Again, you must notice my commute. So I start it in the morning, ride all the way there, and then start it when I come home and ride all the way back. So that's only one start, which probably drains the battery as much as anything else. If you were urban commuting, I also disconnected the rear brake light as well, so I can brake with the back foot, and then if I want to show people, if there's anybody behind me, see me braking, I'll just pull the front brake lever. That's what I'll do. So anyway, just trying to elongate the life of this. And I wasn't going to renew the plate, and like I said, I was going to trash it, but then I thought, no, I'll try this battery thing, and honestly, makes no odds. I mean, it's basically a free motorcycle now, and I'll just ride it and say until something else happens. And I don't know what that something else is, but I would bet, if I was to place money, I'd say the next thing to wear out would be the drive unit, because it didn't look great when I was in there, and I did replace all the cush drive rubbers and grease the shit out of everything. But I say that might be next. If not, I just don't see how anything's going to burst this unburstable motor. I've just sold a 1982 XT550 for $2,950, which was a tremendous amount of money. The bloke loved it. It was really nice. Really nice. That was quite pleasantly surprising. And then I fell off the KLX at the weekend. Primarily, I'm guessing, because the front tyre's worn out. But look how it's worn. The two knobbles here, this is virtually flat, and then this one is like sticking all the way up. There's nobody here. There's a little man right here. So I don't know why that. And it's I don't know. It's an MT04, I think, Pirelli, which is about fucking $100, man. Talk about expensive for a dirt tire. So anyway, I do have a 606 Dunlop 606 in the basement that's going on the old going on the KLX 300. But that was. But yeah, that was a lot of fun where we went on Sunday. And then tomorrow, it's GSXR Wednesday.